Hi guys, welcome to IIFEM. Today we want to talk about back injuries. Now back injuries are one of the most common complaints in the gym. Nothing will stall your progress worse or for longer than a back injury. The truth of the matter is that the vast majority of these injuries can easily be avoided just by paying attention to some basic technique points. Today we are going to discuss 5 easy ways in which you can just use simple technique and cue hacks in order to protect your back. Number 1, breathe into your diaphragm. Now this is something that people instinctually understand but actually struggle with when lifting. Basically what you want to do is you want to pull your diaphragm down as you inhale so that the entirety of the rib cage can expand. This rib cage expansion provides pressure to the spine, which then reinforces it and prevents injuries. So the trick here is to not just breathe through your chest, which is what most people do. They take very shallow breaths. We want to take deep breaths. So the simplest way to practice this is to lie on your back and place one hand on your stomach and the other on your chest. And as you breathe, let both hands rise and fall at the same rate. When lifting, don't try to cram as much air as you can into your lungs. Instead, use about 80% of your full lung capacity, as this will provide the best amount of support. Number 2, don't overarch your back. Now this is a very important point that most people get confused about. See, we all understand that we don't want to round the back, because when you round the back, you actually overstretch the ligaments and they are lifting the weight instead of the muscles, and the ligaments are more prone to injury. However, when you overarch the back, you actually disengage the abs, and therefore the back is not protected from all directions. So what you actually want to do is have a sort of in-between position where the back is neither rounded nor fully arched, and you're actually able to squeeze the abs and lower back simultaneously. The reason why people make this mistake is because they confuse flexing the back with arching the back. It's very easy to feel the lower back muscles working if you just arch really hard, but that unfortunately doesn't actually serve its purpose. So an easy way to learn this is to face a wall, place your hands on it and try to squat down, sort of like an overhead squat. At the bottom of this position, you would be forced to arch your lower back, but at the same time you can't overarch it because of the deep sitting position of the squat. This back posture is just perfect, where you're able to flex the back but not overstretch it. The trick is to squeeze the abs simultaneously, which we'll cover in the next point. Let us look at tip number 3. Push the abs and obliques out when flexing them. So this is a very big misconception that people think that when you flex the abs, you actually want to pull your abs in. What you're trying to do, in fact, is to breathe into your stomach, push your stomach out, and then flex it outwards, as if you're trying to break an imaginary belt. In fact, it isn't a bad idea to actually practice with a belt. Just wear a belt, put it on tight, and then inhale into your stomach and try to break the belt with your abs. This will give you an idea of the direction in which you want to flex. Also, most people while flexing the abs completely forget about the obliques. The trick is you also want the sides to sort of expand and push out into the belt. The reason for this is extremely simple. This way the stomach is a little bigger and therefore provides more reinforcement for the back. Now when you actually pull your stomach in or your obliques in, you have less surface area to actually protect the spine. In addition, the abs are meant to provide more static pressure rather than contractile pressure. Therefore, by pushing it out, you're able to hold that position better and flex harder. This increases something known as intra-abdominal pressure, which does two things. Number 1, it protects the back, and number 2, it also increases our strength. So this way you're actually killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Let us now look at point number 4, which is close the sphincter. Now it might sound strange, but actually what we're trying to do over here is flex the pelvic floor. The pelvic floor protects the pelvic girdle and the tailbone from excessive movement during movements like squatting or deadlifting. This prevents back injuries and also avoids sciatica. So how do you actually squeeze the sphincter? Basically, you want to stop yourself from defecating. You heard that right? This is the best way to fully maximize the tightness of the tailbone. The final tip we have is to save the belt for the heavy lifts only. Now all the muscles that we spoke of, the pelvic floor, the abs, the obliques, the diaphragm and the spinal erectors all help to reinforce the spine and as such must be developed in order to protect the spine. The best way to do this is to simply let them do their job and focus on good technique. By overusing the belt, you actually weaken these muscles by taking away all their work. So the best use of a belt would be to simply avoid it as much as possible and only use it when you're going for a PR attempt. I hope these points help you avoid back injuries in the future. Thank you.